What is anger?
How is anger good? It comes from attachment.
Many of our lifetimes we have spent being slaves.
Could you throw more light on that? Hi everyone, I'm Aarti Tukral Karan and we have with us today Anu Kulkarni. And in our Love Yourself series, we are back with episode 2 that will be anger. We will discuss what is anger, how to deal with it, what do people do when they get triggered with anger, and so on and so forth. So over to you, Anu.
Hi. So, yeah, you've taken a very interesting topic called anger, and I think each one of us, I don't think there's even a single human being who's never had anger.
Absolutely, I agree with
So
you.
anger is one of the most potent and necessary topics to address today, because what is anger is something that anger can be good, anger can be bad.
How is anger good?
Well, there are many ways, we'll get to that. But first, let's talk about what is essentially anger. Anger is stemming from our own inner expectation
Agree.
of the external work and how we have to deal with it, right? The world. We have relationship issues, we have students, we have children, mothers with their children, with their colleagues. We're all interacting. We're a world that interacts. So we have expectations. We all want something from the other, right?
Correct.
And when we don't get what we want, is what triggers us into a flare up. So anger is only an offshoot of our expectation out of life itself, which get manifests in such circumstances and situations. Now, anger can also be good. There's nothing wrong with anger, because anger instigates a change in a person. Like if a child is not studying, and the mother has to be angry with the child because he doesn't understand that the seriousness of the situation, unless the mother really gets angry and alerts the child about the situation. So anger is good. But how you process that anger within you is the most important thing. When anger is done out of hate, or is a very strong emotion that you get triggered and upset with internally, it comes from attachment.
It comes from attachment.
You're not doing it out of seeing the good of the anger. You're doing it because you're just spontaneously angry and you hit out at the person. You probably hit the child, or you'll get aggressive, and that'll upset you later. Then you regret it. So when an anger is something that you do and you regret later, it's born out of attachment.
Okay.
But when you are angry with the child and you make the child understand the importance of why you're getting angry, and the next minute you're absolutely normal, as if nothing has happened, that is detached anger, where you're not getting involved in the process.
So, which means when you say good anger and bad anger is the one where you are detached, and bad anger is the one where you get attached.
Which
Even
comes
for a
out
mother,
of attachment.
out
It
of
springs
attachment.
out of attachment.
So, for a mother and child, the mother is attached to the child. That's why she gets angry if he's not listening or not doing his chore or not studying well. But having said that, she has to do it just out of detachment or out of attachment, but still not getting involved in it. Could you throw more light on that?
The mother is always attached to the child.
Agree.
She's angry with the child because of that attachment, because she wants the child to have a certain result, right? He has to excel in his studies. He has to get that 100 on 100. Now you have to look at it from different points of view. Is that child capable of getting 100 on 100? And the mother is just going on and on, then she's not understood the situation. Then she's only operating from her own expectation, which is possibly not the correct way to do it. You have to look at also the capacity of the child, the interest of the child, whether he's genuinely interested in that, what you're pushing him to do. Is he capable of doing that? That's a detached way of analysis. When you know that the child is very capable of achieving it because he's achieved it before and he has accomplished things as a record, and it's only this one instant that he's not doing it because he's lost interest, then you do it in a way that is more detached. So you also, there are lots of things that you have to consider when you are angry.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, when you're angry, you're just angry. It's a spontaneous reaction, right? But to snap out of it is the most important thing.
So how do we do that?
By understanding why are you getting angry, you have to pretend an anger to a certain, to a certain state. You have to just show that anger and not internally disturb you. Again, I told you that's a process of awareness,
Mm-hmm.
which comes with constantly understanding who you are, acknowledging yourself, because any of these vibrations of anger or envy or jealousy or whatever it is stemming from low self-worth.
Okay.
We are all a product of very, very low self-worth. We may project to be very confident, we may project ourselves to be really like, we like to know that we're in control,
Mm-hmm.
but internally we are going through a lot of self-doubt, a lot of low self-worthiness, low self-esteem,
Mm-hmm.
because there's not a single human being who has not suffered from low self-worth, because this is something that every human has suffered. But I will now go back into a topic known as the past life. You know, many of our lifetimes we have spent being slaves, being subjugated to subordinations, you know, poverty consciousness, not good enough. We have all gone through a lot of all that in many, 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 many lifetimes before we've evolved and come into our present state of being. So we
Mm-hmm.
have a backlog history that we need to understand that we are in. That's why loving yourself is so important, because the loving yourself automatically dissolves all this low self-worth, low self-worthiness, low self-esteem, I'm not good enough, because love, I told you, is the highest vibration.
Right. I was just gonna come to that.
Yeah,
That you did mention in your previous
yeah,
episode that love is the highest vibration.
absolutely, and
So
we've not
then, when
even,
it dissolves everything in itself,
everything gets dissolved,
anger, jealousy, greed, everything
everything,
gets
because
dissolved in love.
once you bring up your self-worthiness,
Mm-hmm.
once you feel that I am good enough, then that energy itself will dissolve all the lower vibrations. It's an automatic process of evolution, and we have not even touched the tip of the iceberg when it comes to love, because love is so expansive, it's so beautiful. See, when you go to a temple, how do you feel?
When you just said the
Or a
word
church,
expansive, that's how you
yeah.
feel.
Why do you feel expansive? Because when you are all going to a church, a temple, or any spiritual place, everyone is going in a spirit of surrender. So their energies are already in that feeling of high vibration, of surrender, of love. And then when you go and see that deity, or you go and see that sanctuary that you're going into, what do you feel? You feel so powerful, because the person or that sanctuary, what mosque or whatever it is, the place you've gone to, that energy, you're going to worship an energy of love.
Hmm.
So you feel that love completely coming into you, because you're in a state of surrender. So you are ready to absorb that energy.
So, like how we discussed about the vibes last
Yeah,
time,
the
and we
vibes.
said that when we get into the party, the somebody with a lower vibration also comes in contact with a higher vibration and starts feeling good.
Yeah,
That's how we start feeling good, when we go to a place with a higher vibration
absolutely. And then that higher vibration stays with you.
for good some
Don't you
time.
go? Yeah, it stays good for some time. You come home, you feel like loving your child, you feel everything is love. You
Yeah,
just feel
yeah.
so loved, so nice. Till the
I can so relate to what you're
drama,
saying.
till the drama starts again.
Yeah.
And then you get lost again. So the idea is to do this on a constant basis. It's spirituality or religion or whatever we say it is, it has to be a 24/7. It's a full time awareness of this truth. It has to be a full time awareness. Only then can you step out of the lower vibrations and move into a zone of being. Yes, you will have lows in life. I'm not saying they're all going to be gods, but the dips will stop being so prominent, you know.
Mm-hmm.
The dips will just start being quickly coming back to normalcy, quickly coming back to normalcy. And life will always show itself. Anger will always come. Anger is not going to stop by you saying, oh, I love myself and so there'll be nothing that I'll ever be angry with. No, you will always have triggers in your life. That's the purpose of life.
So, what generally, according to you, triggers people?
Expectation, ego,
Mm-hmm.
core beliefs that you're brought up in. If you have an angry parent or if you have an angry grandfather or an
Genetic.
uncle, it's yes, it's genetic also, but also what you're perceiving as a child. So if you see someone, say you see one of the parent hitting at the other parent, then that child picks up those emotions and it becomes a repetitive action even in his life or her life, you know. So what we our core beliefs are very important. That's why they say that you should read to your child when the child is in your womb. Say good things, feel the child, love the child, be very conscious of what you are doing, because everything that you are doing is filtering into the child's mind, because the child doesn't have a brain. The brain is not developed. The first thing that is developed in the child is the heart.
Right.
So the emotions. So it is drawing everything from the mother's emotional body that is creating the child's reality. So if the mother is disturbed, the child will obviously be disturbed. And that stays because the brain is growing at the age, the brain comes when it's 2 years of age and starts developing from 2 to 8 to 10 years of age. Then after that, the brain starts processing, logically thinking, analyzing the mind. But before that, it's all the heart mind. So if you give the child a chocolate and you give a child a 500 rupee note, what is the child going to choose?
Obviously, the chocolate.
Why? Instant gratification, right? The heart doesn't have the mind to think, oh, with 500 I can buy 50 chocolates or 100 chocolates. Why should I take, one chocolate? Doesn't think that way. He'll instantly grab it because he's working on his emotions. So the emotional body is where your self-worthiness is the most
Mm-hmm.
developed. And then you move into your logical thinking, planning, reasoning, you know, that mind is your brain mind. So anger can come for anybody and everybody, but the core essence is also ego. Supposing you become a boss, or suddenly you were a subordinate, you've been promoted to be the manager. The manager starts feeling really good. What does he want to do? He wants to boss over the colleagues, right? Ego mind. So there's so many reasons for anger. He then starts bossing around, trying to get the work done, showing his power.
Mm-hmm.
Power brings anger also, you know. So anger is like any other emotion. It comes, but you have to know how you can use that anger. So when you use it for the good, then anger is good. When you try, and normally in life, you will see that you're always triggered by somebody or the other, whether it is anger or jealousy or envy or pride. These emotions will always come at your face. Why? Ask me why.
Why?
Because it is your own mirror.
Which means we have that inside us and then we see that.
Absolutely.
So, is
Absolutely.
there anybody on planet Earth who doesn't have these emotions and then he doesn't get to see that in the world?
Only the God men, hopefully. That also we don't know. But God is perfect, right? None of us have reached that stage of evolution. But all of us have to transcend these emotions, reduce it. The whole game of life is play of emotions. How good are you at being able to play and control and manage emotions to get ahead in life? That's your real transition. That's your real evolution, is the emotion. The emotional body governs, I would say, karma all the time. We are always reacting. Because we're reacting, we're always creating the action and reaction game. So important thing is, if you want to transcend your karma, you got to have to know who you are in terms of your emotions.
So, for the sake of viewers, could you please explain uh, how do we deal with anger? If somebody faces this to the aggressive level or the violent level, and how do you deal with it so that it doesn't harm you and your inner self? Physically, also, first emotionally and then physically. We did discuss that it manifests into your physical body if you hold on to the anger. Do you agree to that?
It does. It always manifests.
So
What
how
happens?
do you reach a point wherein you have channelized the anger in such a way that it doesn't reach your physical body?
So you need to channelize before the anger comes, not when the anger comes. If you understand that anger, you have a tendency to be angry,
Mm-hmm.
then resort to the measures of what suits you to heal this anger issue. It can be going to a therapist, it
Mm-hmm.
can be doing breath work, yoga, it could be kickboxing, it could be anything, a game that relaxes you. Get the happiness quotient up more.
Oh, so the happiness quotient, if it's higher than your anger quotient,
Yeah,
it takes over through
yeah.
the day.
Yeah, I mean, you got to equip yourself, na? Like you got to have a stamina to take anger, to deal with anger. Firstly, inherently, remove the anger that is within you.
And how do you remove that?
That's what I'm saying. You need to go talk to people, talk to friends, talk to therapists, or go for your own. Draw out your own plan. What suits you? What is your I can't give you a solution. You need to find your own solution. But there are options. Like yoga is very good. Breath work is very good. Self analysis is good. Even just writing it down. Today, how many times did I get angry? Why did I get angry? What triggered my anger? Self analysis, introspect, that's the best. When you're able to keep just writing it down, just writing it down, then writing down even to people who you're angry with. I'm so angry with you, you don't want to say it to the person, or you can't say it to the person. Sometimes there are lots of daughter-in-law can't tell the father-in-law or the mother-in-law how angry she is, right? So what does she do? She can write it down. Keep writing it every day. Write down your anger, write down your anger, and burn it or flush it down the pot. You know, it's a great cathartic way of getting rid of an anger.
Mm-hmm.
And with time to come, you will see that the writing will get less and less, because you released it. You're coming into that self awareness. And I think I mentioned this in the last
Yes, we
record.
did.
Yeah. So that's one of the very good things. And then of course you can go in for therapy, or exercise is great, because exercise, your adrenalines go up, your happy quotient goes up, you feel better, you feel more confident. So anger also comes when you're not confident. Anger also comes when you're out of control, there's loss of control. So all these things can build up your sense of control, your sense of awareness. That is it. That is the most important. Be in control of who you are by doing happy things, by spending time with yourself, by doing the thing, by showing, again, protecting your space. If the minute anybody gets angry, know that they've entered your space, and then protect it. Ah, no, no, I'm not going to let this person trigger me.
And what about you getting angry? If there's something triggering you, how do you, like I had asked you before also, how do you just catch it? How do you nip it at the bud?
The first thing I do is I don't react.
So you train your mind gradually
Yeah,
to not
not
react to
react. Yeah,
things.
don't react at that moment. You can think about it, you can analyze everything. You can either send the person a note if you don't want to confront the person, write it down and send the note. Read that note carefully before you send it. Don't send it on the spur of the moment. Wait, what is the hurry to prove a point? Prove your point in good time when your mind is calmer, cooler. You need to discuss it. Go
Mm-hmm.
out for a dinner, go out for a casual coffee, and let the person know, look, I didn't like this thing about you. And then when you're calmer, you're able to see the other person's perspective also. Nobody's perfect. If you are angry, there's a reason why that other person has done whatever they have done, right? There's always a reason. It always takes two hands to clap. So when you're calmer, you can be receptive to what the other person is trying to say. And when you understand, say, okay, I didn't look at it this way. Because everyone has their perception. And life is nothing but just perception. If you feel that the world is against you, you will find everyone against you. Because that's the way you feel. So you're attracting that. You are seeing the mirror of your own emotions. So if you see that, then it is coming to you from within you as a lesson to be learned. So understand that why is first thing is, okay, why is this happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
And once you know that, then you know, okay, is there anger in me? Is there something going on in my life? Is it karma? Is it what is it? Start analyzing, reading, because that trigger is coming to tell you something. Either it's telling you to be bold enough to talk. Sometimes people, when they're angry with you, you get scared to even talk. So then maybe it is for you to speak up, learn to speak up. That could be the lesson. Anger doesn't necessarily have to come because you got anger in you. It may also maybe because you're too passive. So you'll have to learn to be able to speak up, speak your mind.
Mm. Wow. I never looked at it that way.
Yeah. So it's a matter of perception. There's so many permutation combinations. And one thing I really need to tell you and everyone is there is no right and there is no wrong at the end of the day. Everything is good. Even the bad is good because the bad has come to teach you something good. So there's a pull. So we are moving, our energies are moving towards polarity.
And what is polarity?
Polarity is oneness. Polarity is, we are right now in a living in duality. There's a good, there's a bad. There's a bad, there's a good. If there's a good, there has to be a bad. If there's a bad, there has to be a good, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we are soon coming to understand that there is no good and there is no bad. So why are we getting so reactive, or why are we getting so attached to things? Because ultimately, the entire journey is about you, and the entire journey is about you scaling up yourself. So when you have that understanding, then every bad also becomes good because you look at it as a challenge and say, okay, now how is this? And let me tell you, challenges are not going to go. They're going to get harder and harder and harder.
The more we progress,
The more you progress, the problems in front of you is also going to progress.
mm-hmm.
So we can't think, oh, we've overcome this, now we'll never get angry. There's no such thing. Something will come and hit you, which you won't be able to cope with. So don't think that, oh, what I'm saying is the ultimate optimum growth. No, growth will keep on happening. The nature of the situations will keep on changing. And that is a challenge. That will become your challenge in moving towards this oneness, moving towards seeing everything from a different light, from a different your perception has to keep growing. When your perception keeps growing, your consciousness keeps expanding. So the idea is to keep on
it's so
expanding.
difficult to fathom what you're explaining, honestly.
Yeah, it starts small steps. Start with the small steps of overcoming. See, even things like anger. What happens in anger? Because you said this is what happened. Because you did this is what happened. You always trigger my anger. You always make me angry. It's never that, why did you get angry? Right? It's always a blame game. You're always blaming somebody else outside of you for a circumstance which is actually inside of you to deal with. So it's just a matter of perception, as I keep telling you. You may not ever look at it this way. But as you keep rising in your vibration, you will start looking at things this way because the awareness will keep expanding. And then when you start expanding your awareness, you'll also start changing your perceptions, your belief systems, your core beliefs will go through a shift. That is the internal journey that will help you to cope with circumstances outside of you.
That was really nice, Anu, knowing from you what is anger, how to deal with it. And if you ask me what has been my takeaway from the entire conversation is the fact that if you raise your vibrations, or if you stay in the love consciousness, or if you're in a happy mood for a longer time, anger doesn't come close to you. So I have also felt this in my life, wherein like you mentioned about the temple thing, that we go to the temple and when we come back we stay happy, or anything else that you like doing, and the anger doesn't come close to you. It's because you are in that happy state of mind, or the love consciousness that we term that way, is my takeaway, that you stay in the happy consciousness, love consciousness for a longer time, and anger stays away from you. Thank you so much, Anu. Thank you so much.